Hey all, welcome to Tech Talk. This episode is really special to me. This is something from my childhood. It may be from your childhood as well. This originally was my sister's, and she ended up giving it to me when she moved out. And after almost 24 years of hard, dedicated service, it still is fully functional, and every feature about it is still perfectly intact. Without further ado, I'm really excited to show you today the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 came out in the late 90s. It was also in the market with a lot of other consoles, including the Sega Dreamcast and the Sony PlayStation at the time. What made this one special? Well, it really was the first early adopter of polygonal 3D graphics. Now, polygonal 3D graphics is essentially taking an object in a two-dimensional space and representing it as a three-dimensional object using polygons. Now, in the 70s, there was a game called Maze that was developed by NASA scientists, and that was dubbed the first three-dimensional on-screen video game. However, the mainstream of three-dimensional video games and how people were able to access them didn't become a huge market until the late 90s. In the late 90s, we saw a lot of improvement in how video games are being developed, and not only just in the development of the functions and mechanics, but also the graphics as well. There may be a few games you think of off the top of your head already when I mention the Nintendo 64. Some people think of Mario Kart, other people think of Mario 64, and I even have GoldenEye as well, which is actually one of the most popular first-person shooter games still to this day that's ever been sold. But what really made this console so special? Besides the fact that cartridges at the time were probably one of the most easily and ready available ways that video games were being manufactured at the time, and how the improvement for these cartridges came about, including the high-speed data connections that come with these, and the satisfying click when you put the cartridge in, there was no wonder that people just absolutely loved picking these up at the store and being able to satisfyingly put this into their console and play, probably at the time, some of the most real graphics they've ever seen on a video game. Well, the question begs now to this day, what value does it hold really? Is there any worth to it? Aside from the games being still to this day a really fun and enjoyable experience for any user of any age, I think the one thing that really took the console's development to the next level was the controller. The controller is special for two reasons. One, it had the ability to put a rumble pack. A rumble pack allowed for vibration of the controller, essentially giving you a real feel to your games. Nowadays, it's pretty common to see that in every single controller that is available on the market. However, at the time, this was a consumer experience. The second thing was the analog stick. This allows you to move in almost every single direction that you possibly could imagine doing, instead of just having to be able to mash these top two corners together to go diagonal, or have to come up with a special way to move your finger really fast across this D-pad. Now, aside from the controller being special and what kind of value it holds, can I even play this game, or can I play any of these games on my own computer now or on my own monitor at home? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can actually play your N64 through one of these adapters if you have a TV with an HDMI connection. This will plug into the output port on your N64 and then have a connection to an HDMI cable that can go out to your TV or to your monitor. If you want to play the games on your computer, you absolutely can. There's free emulation software called Dolphin that has many games available. I think almost every game that was available for the N64 is somewhere out there on the internet, in maybe a place like Vim's Lair or an N64 gaming vault of some kind. I know that there's ISOs out there available for download, and the software isn't too hard to set up. Maybe that can be a video, and I'll try and get that out soon. Now, I think the last thing here is why did people really like the console over others? I mean, sure, there were other shooter games and other types of games that were puzzle and strategy that really made you think. But what made the Nintendo 64 so special? I think what made it special was the community behind it. When people look at these games and they go, oh man, I played that as a kid. I mean, it really generates some sort of value to go back and take a look at these and even go buy some of these for yourself now. I actually went to a marketplace recently that was selling some of these old games for well in the $60s to $70 depending on the condition. While I don't say that I recommend you go out and sell your games for that price, I think it's a very understandable thing to want to have that physical hardware and have that piece of nostalgia with you as well. Now, in the end, those games were some of the most fun that I ever had as a kid. And I know that some of those games brought a lot of ideas and intuition to the next generation of gaming. Although I think that in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot that can be said about the N64. The one main thing is that it gave a generation a platform to build themselves upon and to kind of verify like what is true quality of a modern game. We look at these and we really see the birth of modern functionalities and the modern look at how we interpret camera angles and modeling, and how we can present a story to the user in the most graphically pleasing way possible. I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.